Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Chromebook Classroom. We're going to get geeky today with a little science, and my partner in crime is better than Bill Nye the Science Guy. We have the one and only Katarina with us this morning. Good morning, Katarina.
Good morning, Trish. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited you are here. You have just the most... I don't know, you inspire inquiry in me. You've got these great ideas. You're always percolating with awesomeness. And why don't we tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do?
So I am the elementary science consultant. I support teachers and students from kindergarten to grade 6. I love inquiry-based learning. I love science because I think that fostering curiosity in kids is so important. And the science content that we have in this curriculum, it's super engaging and lends itself for kids to make some really great connections with phenomena and the world around them.
Oh, see, and this was me as a kid, Katarina. I was always the one tinkering or taking something apart or figure something out. Science and technology are like best friends. And so I'm so excited that you're going to show us today a little bit about wonder. When you called this Wonder Wednesday, I thought, wonder, maybe that's what's missing from science. And I thought, no, it's not missing from science. Our whole program is full of wonder. So why do we need that in our science programs in our classrooms?
So we need this in our science classroom so that students can make sense, or they can do sense making about natural phenomena, how things work, and how the world works. Kids have just this natural curiosity about them. I know little Trish and little Katarina were always around asking why. Let's capitalize on that with our students. Let's engage them into the science program of studies and really make this interesting and engaging for them and for us too. So we're going to explore today a visual thinking routine called See, Think, Wonder. And See, Think, Wonder is a great routine for students to think critically, to make some careful observations and noticing about the science and the science of everything around us. So we're going to utilize Google Slides today to showcase See, Think, Wonder through a routine and something that you can have weekly in your science class called Wonder Wednesday.
Well, this is so exciting. Okay, and anybody that's watching that's going, yes, this Katarina's slides are actually going to be attached below this video. So you will have your own copy of everything that she is showing today for you to use right after you see this video.
All right, so Wonder Wednesday, like I said, this is a routine that you can have in place for your science classroom or your science class. This routine is going to get your kids to think critically. They're going to observe maybe content that you are currently teaching for your science topics. We want to get them questioning. We want to get them analyzing, and then again, make sense of the world around us. When students are actively observing, questioning, and analyzing, then we are going to support them in thinking more deeply and to transfer that learning from not just science topics, but from every single subject area. We want students to be great thinkers and great communicators. See, Think, Wonder is a really great way to get your students engaged in a new science topic or an idea. We want them exploring, we want them inquiring into those science topics that we have. And also, we can do this as a weekly routine. It's something that is purposeful in planning, but really simplistic to carry out in your everyday class.
Oh, that's exciting. And I love how we can do this in a tool like Google Slides, because it's that tool that we see in classroom almost every day, whether that's my teacher instructional slides, maybe that's something I'm doing for a student demonstration of learning. But I love that it's more about the thinking routine. The technology is not going to prevent us from being successful at this.
Yes. Google Slides is a tried and true digital tool. And then this way we can focus on the thinking. We can be really purposeful in connecting those images in Wonder Wednesday to our curricular outcomes in science. So when we get started with Wonder Wednesday, we want to think about an image. I really love to use GIFs. Trish, I know that you love to use GIFs too to show cause and effect.
Absolutely.
So we can use the images and GIFs that are connected to maybe an upcoming topic in science if you want to get them excited about a new unit that you're starting, or maybe you are kind of specifying an outcome. Connect that image or that GIF, even a video, to the outcome that you are teaching. We are also going to, when you're starting, we want to define see, think, and wonder for our students. We want to make sure that we're not already implying that they know what those words mean. We want to give them a definition of those words. And also, this is going to support our English language learners, maybe some students who require some additional supports, but then it's just going to set those expectations for your entire class when you are getting them to use those prompts of I see, I think, and I wonder. We also want to have that image or that GIF, and I'll show you an example. We want to have that GIF that is super interesting, and we want to have that GIF that is always visible for them. So we can utilize our teacher Chromebooks, we can utilize our smartboard at the same time. When you're first starting, you're going to start with displaying the picture and asking students what they see. We're going to give them the prompt, I see, and get them to collect those student responses. For your first time, you can do this verbally as a whole group with your teacher Chromebook in hand, with the image displayed on your smartboard, and then you're going to repeat those steps again with the prompts, I think, and I wonder. And those wonder statements will be formed in a phrase of a question.
I love that there's these steps that we can learn because, like you said, it's really become a routine. Maybe the first time it's a little bit more structured, a little bit more modeled for that whole group. And I love how we can sort of eventually release that control, release that responses to them, because regardless of the topic, this is a routine that I'm going to do over and over with these same 5 steps. I absolutely love being able to set that up for students.
And Trish, when you said the word model, that is absolutely key when you're getting started with these thinking routines. We want to model what that will sound like for the students when they're sending those responses. We want to model what thinking out loud is for our kids. So if you have those responses of I see, I think, I wonder, tell the students, because they always want to hear your interpretations. They want to hear your observations as well, and they're noticing. So model for them.
Love that.
So here are some visual examples that I will have linked for you. I always like to have all of those words color coded. I also like to pair them with a visual as well. So we have see, think, wonder. For our Div 1 learners, I like to have the visuals paired there so that it's almost a visual prompt for them. They know when they see those 2 little eyeballs, they know that I'm going to prompt them to tell me what they see. When they see the brain, they know I'm going to prompt them to tell me what they think. And then when they see the question mark, they know that I'm going to prompt them with an I wonder statement. Of course, you can utilize any images that you like, but these are going to be linked and ready to use for you too.
Fantastic. What a great universal design strategy for all of our learners, regardless of reading ability. Everybody can use color tagging. Everybody can use visual prompts. So that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. The color coding is a type A dream.
I love that.
So here's an example of Wonder Wednesday from grade 2 from the topic is hot and cold. And the way that I like to use Wonder Wednesday is I will start with an interesting image, but I'm not going to give the students any information of what it is about. And that's going to spark their curiosity. That's really going to drive those wonder questions when you get to the wonder statements. So when I'm first starting, I'm going to ask students, look at the image. I'm going to give them a minute to think independently about what they see. As I move forward, I'm going to collect their responses with the prompt I see. Of course, the image is thumbnailed at the bottom as well, so they always have that visual that's present with them.
Awesome.
I can make this untethered teaching by having my smartboard display, so I can open up my Google Slides on my desktop computer.
Yep.
I'm going to have it open again on my teacher Chromebook, and that way I can walk around the classroom, I can slide in beside a student, and I can type those responses for them. This is going to be especially handy for those Div 1 learners who are not quite yet ready to type on their own, if you're doing this as a collective response with your own student Chromebooks. And then also, I like to give students opportunities as well to add their own audio recordings. right onto my
Absolutely.
document.
Well, that's so exciting about Google Slides. And, talking accessibility for just a moment for all your students. Yes, we can type it on there. We can use print. We can use audio in Google Slides. And also read and write completely works in Google Slides as well as any of the other Google apps. So if you do have a student that even prefers to voice type, or for yourself to voice type a quick observation, it's so easy to do that anybody of any print ability can still approach this on their own.
So next you're going to go to I think, collect those student responses. So you're going to base it off of their observations with I see. What do they think is happening next? What do they think is going on in the pictures? So some samples that were happening in this grade 2 class that I was completing with this, they were saying first, I see hands. Yes, very simple enough. I think the hands are going to be doing something. I think the hands are colored for a reason. And so I'm not going to prompt too much because I really want them to communicate what they're thinking and what they see. After you've completed I see and I think, we're going to go to I wonder. And this is my favorite part because I was always this kid. And
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder why. I want to know. I want to know now. And then, of course, my parents always expected the 5 more follow-up questions that came after.
Absolutely. Already I'm like, well, what's the difference between green and blue? Like even I'm sitting here trying to figure, that's awesome to really, you want to spur that curiosity, that inquiry to give a reason to do the content teaching. Like it allows me to link it to something as opposed to me just having to absorb that information and not really connect it to anything else.
Yeah, and Trish, I like that you said, oh, I wonder what the difference is between the green and the blue and the red. And those were the responses that we were getting from grade 2 students. I wonder why there's a mixture of colors on those hands. I wonder what is happening. I wonder if this is a photograph. And that is where I have the big yes, I have them. I can now connect this to hot and cold temperatures.
Yes.
Because what I'm going to do next is I am going to reveal what this picture is about.
So there's some temptation as a teacher. We can't give away the answer too quickly. Like we really do have to allow this process. What would you say the time frame in a classroom for a process like this is?
I would say for your first time, it's going to take about 15-ish minutes.
Okay.
And then when you're going to follow up, then I might allow maybe 5 to 7 more minutes just to reveal and to explain the reveal and what's happening in the photo. Then your kids are going to be super engaged once you've given them the answer. They're going to want to come back to those wonder questions, but I'll talk about that in a second.
Excellent.
And how you can utilize those wonder questions. So after you've done the I wonder statements, here comes the big reveal.
Okay.
You gather them all up. You're going to consolidate all of their responses, and you're going to tell them what this picture is about. So this particular picture,
I love the GIF. Yes.
this particular picture is all about thermal imaging. So we were able to connect hot and cold temperatures. This was a provocation to get them excited about heat, about hot and cold, and how sometimes we can associate hot and cold and thermal imaging and cameras with their colors. So we're also accessing background knowledge that they have from grade 1 science and bringing it all together. And so now you have a rich discussion that can take place with your students. So I give them a little bit of information about thermal cameras, about imaging, and how hot and cold colors or warm and cool colors are all connected to temperature as well. I also give them some additional images, and we can talk about maybe why particular parts of the photo or particular parts of the body are red or why some are more blue or green. After with this class, we talked about warm colors, we talked about cool colors, and what came out of that naturally was a discussion about art. And later on, we had more connections to our art curriculum too. So here are some things to take it further. So after you have given them the big reveal, hold on to those wonder questions, hold on to those statements, have them visible somewhere in your classroom. And I always like to print my slides, have them maybe on my science wall or my portion of the smartboard or whiteboard where I might display some of my science things. And so that was always a reminder for me. to come back to their observations, to come back to their wonder questions and what they thought. This also gave me an indication of what students already knew about the upcoming topic that I was about to teach in science. So when you get really good at the routine, when you're used to it, start to encourage students to give some reasons for their statements. Why did they think that way? Or how did they come up with that wonder question? Also, revisit the wonder questions. You want to come back to those wonder questions and then use it as an enrichment opportunity for students to research the answer after. And with our grade 1 students, they want their wonder questions answered. They are going to come back to you. If you've got a little
That's
Katerina in
right.
your classroom, they are going to keep coming to you until your wonder question is answered. Also, as I said earlier, connect this to a specific outcome. Connect this to your topic so that you're always bringing it back to the program of studies. One question that I always like to ask them after we've had a habitual routine of Wonder Wednesday, I take the image or the GIF and I ask them, how is this connected to what we're learning? You just need this. How is this connected to what we're learning? What does this have to do with science? And out of those get some really, really great peer-to-peer conversations too that are so interesting to listen into. Another idea, utilize multiple images. When you bundle a bunch of images together that's connected to a concept or a topic or an idea, it also just brings in more discussion and more ideas for students to consider.
Oh, that's such great advice. And I love that connecting to our learning. Really, this is where we could bring in our success criteria with our students as well, right?
Absolutely.
Looking at those I can statements, looking at did we make those connections to this? These are the markers within my learning to show that I've learned what I need to learn. Can we connect it to that? What great advice for us.
Yeah, and Wonder Wednesday is a simple routine to carry out, but it is very purposeful in that we are maybe connecting the relevance of the images and the GIFs to our outcomes.
Love this.
Here is an example for you. So this is connected to a grade 1 topic. This was connected to the Holy Festival. And this is actually, I think, the Color Me Rad.
I was just going to say, I'm like, I was going to guess Color Me Rad, but is it a festival? Like I'm sitting here trying to think the same.
And so the idea was to get students engaged with the topic of color. And so we would talk about the different powders that might be used. We talk about mixture of colors. And out of this is connected to experiences that students might have already had. You can then take it further and get students to incorporate their own real lived experiences.
Love it.
Okay. And so that is it. I do have
That's so great.
tons of samples to share with you, and they will be linked with Trish.
Absolutely. And so after today, we hope you can take this template. If you can see that it'll be Google Slides, you can actually take this, you can make a copy of it, put it in your Google Classroom. So each of your students have a copy for them to be able to work on. Like Kat said, you can have that modeled large screen on your board. So you'll find these slides. You will find a link to other resources, support resources from our own personal Bill Nye, our very own Katerina Campbell, her site on SharePoint to get even more. And so thank you for being here today. And we look forward to seeing you in some more upcoming episodes. Bye, everybody.